called City Miss Cattle. And they have over 100 head of cattle and have 2 female sales and 1 bull sale each year, where they market these to juniors to show and others for their breeding program. I'd like to welcome Mr.
I was putting TV at the end. I don't know if you told me to.
Oh, yeah.
And so once I put that in, it just is barely different.
Oh, okay. So you're good then.
So I can't get this to have enough power to do that.
Oh, this won't do it? What are you running off of right now? Oh, you're on your cell phone. Is it on internet in this building?
Unless you know, maybe, is it Rick Dunson's brother that maybe I can try and get theirs?
I don't know. You can ask him.
Oh, it's Rick. I'm just guessing that's who it'd probably be.
Gotcha. I mean, that worked at the school. We had a few glitches with it, but it worked pretty good at school. But.
Yeah, it might be a hit and miss thing from this distance. I'd like this. Had like.
And it could be the metal building too.
Yeah, that doesn't help at all.
It could be killing some of your signal. Okay, well, as long as you're on, at least.
Yeah. I'll use this for tonight.
Okay, go.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. You need anything else?
It's nice that you're close.
I know, right? Just run across the street. We were going to the store anyway, so it worked out perfect.
Okay, appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.
Well, good evening, and a pleasure for my wife and I to spend our anniversary in Delta, Utah. 36 years, married to this redhead over here. Like some guy's trying to pick up on my wife right now. I might have a word with him after the show. Anyway, we've had a great time. We actually came in yesterday because we couldn't get a flight in today, so we've been spending a little time touring your beautiful green country. I had no idea it could be so dry in the world, and we've come down here and good grief. In fact, I was a little hesitant to think about what these cattle might look like, because there ain't nothing for these things to eat around here. I don't know what in the world these cattle survive on, but the show cattle are in great shape, and this is an excellent way to start our show. The neat thing is they told me we're going to pick a top 5, and I don't know what we have yet to come in the show, but these 4 here could easily be in the top 5, because I think each of the 4 heifers have a lot of quality, a lot of good to them. And it's kind of nice when you judge the show and you're able to kind of maybe start right off the bat with one that really kind of hits you pretty hard and kind of sets the bar as to what fits you as a judge. And some of you might say, well, is it the red one or the black one? And I think that's the kind of class we have in here, because there's some judges that probably would like the black heifer here the best because of the things that she brings here to the show. But for me, it's the red heifer, and I think this one here is just really, really nice. And, got a great showing at the end of the halter. He does an excellent job of getting presented. But you know, again, there's things that you know, in the beef cattle world and all these species, we're going to get the opportunity to judge and talk about. There's things that each of us like and appreciate. Here, we grew up here side by side, and I think the term balance kind of fits her a little bit better. She's just a little nicer in her neck and her chest, her lower shoulder, her underline kind of fits in just a little bit nicer. So the general silhouette, the balance that she puts together, I felt kind of fit the pattern of the red heifer just a little bit nicer than the other 2 cattle we have here that follow in third and fourth. So she doesn't have that exquisite look, that real refined look that maybe the red heifer has. But I guess in this particular group of 4, I thought she was the next best. I tell you what, these 2 young ladies here that had these 2 big stout heifers, they have done a great job. And sometimes as parents, we don't appreciate what it takes to show big cattle, especially when you can weigh about 70 pounds, maybe 60 pounds. These 2 young ladies, I really give a thumbs up for the job and the effort that they did. They both have great cattle. This gray heifer, tremendous in muscle, her dimension from one end to the other, the power that she has, and yet still gives you a really nice look when you get her stopped. She's just a little nicer in her jaw, down into her chest, probably just a little bit more refined maybe in her bone work. I think all those things are a real strength of her. I felt as we got her on the move, she's maybe just a little tighter the way she's constructed in her hock and her hind leg. Maybe for me just a little more muscle than I need, to be quite honest. But if you like those kind, you like it big and stout and powerful, then there's no doubt you don't like the heifers in third and fourth. Young lady tells me that heifer and fourth is an Angus heifer. Here's that Angus. And I tell you what, hats off to that one right there. Her body length is incredible. Her bone, her muscle. You know, I go to a lot of English shows, and this one here, we can fit a lot of champions inside of that one because of just the dimension that she has. She's so long-bodied that maybe she doesn't have quite the depth that we see in the cattle ahead of her, especially when we study her from her chest and back into her flank. But I think her extra body length, her muscle, her bone work makes her a very unique heifer within the English breed. Very nice group of cattle to get us started. We look forward to 3 great days here in Livestock.
finish showing your heifers are on standby. Anyone can come back into the ring, so just keep your heifers ready if you would.
I guess by chance, my favorite today are the two red heifers so far. Not that I'm a fan of all the red ones, but I think in the last two classes, it makes pretty good sense that those are the two good cattle in class. That you just have that little extra wow factor to them. That's certainly the case we have here. This heifer, for having she has, I think she handles it really nice, especially in the design of her hind leg. This view of the heifer is extremely impressive. To make one that stout and square from behind, be able to maintain that kind of width to the ground makes her pretty unique. And still stop. Gives you a really nice look, and great job, young lady, here in showmanship, your presentation, your attendance out here, and when you're kind of getting this thing put together, really, I think makes a nice pair. So congratulations to you and the very nice female here to get start. Give her a nice hand for the job here, well done. I guess the decision didn't really comes, well, I told these three young men, I said, that thing look like peas in a pod. It's pretty obvious they come from the same breeding program, the way that they're built and designed, and again, you make that decision to use the live heifer here in second because of the unique things that she brings to the show today. She's considerably longer body than the other cattle. In fact, she's the longest heifer in class. She has the same kind of bone work underneath her as the heifer they have winning the class. Same kind of muscle shape. I think the difference between her and her class winners, we studied the middle third of that female in terms of her heart and her forerib. Just a little tighter the way she's constructed, a little shallower back into her flank. It maybe doesn't give us quite that, the balanced look because of that, like we have in the red heifer. Nor does she have the smoothness and the fleshing ability that's really pretty easy to see here in these next three Angus heifers. Again, I complimented these young men because it's tough when we breed cattle to make them very similar, sometimes. And these three here, there's just very small differences. But I think of the three, this one that ends up in third is the best one of the three. In terms of the physical look that she gives us, again, just a little nicer up in her jaw and her chest. I love this heifer's length at top, her levelness at hip, very, very smooth, really refined in her udder. I think she's going to be a beautiful cow once we get her into production, just by all the things that she has in terms of refinement and femininity. Not as stout bone, not as burly built, not as muscular as some of the things we would say about the other cattle, but I think is a turnout kind of cow somewhere down the road here. We're going to like a lot of things about her. Just really nice in her skeleton, the way that she's constructed. I think that, again, the levelness of hip and just the balance that I see in the heifer here that ends up in fourth over fifth is why I kind of keep those two sorted the way they are. And that's just a little more of the presence out here that you like. You know, I still am one of those that we want to pick them as functional and fundamental as we can, but we also put a halt from these things. We call them show for a reason, and that's what this heifer does so well. She just has a lot of presence out here in the ring, and I don't know if this young man has dressed her or not, but whoever has done a really good job of getting her put together. I don't know that she's going to be quite as pleased to have all this hair on her come tomorrow when it's almost 100 degrees here, but today it sure helps her get her great. It's a good female from the standpoint of her length, her neck, her smoothness, her shoulder. You know, her body depth is really good. I think the design of her hip is good. There's a couple things that probably are not perfect and they need to be changed. I think the first and most obvious thing is we come out of the top of her shoulder blade, the way she transitions into her spine, her forehead in general. When you fill one up and have that big a belly, if they're not as good up in her forehead shoulder junction, then it becomes a real obvious fault. And I think that's something we can see pretty easily. And there's times when she travels, I don't know that she's just 12 o'clock at the ground, but she's sure good enough. And I don't think, again, anything that can get her in a real serious trouble in terms of longevity issues. So there's a lot of good. And once again, and I don't know that it's ironic or whatever, but another very good showing on the front end of that one. Does a very good job in getting her presented. The blue heifer or the heifer in third, that become a close decision for me, and not because they're so much alike, it's because they're so different, and I think a lot of strengths. Unique breeding pieces, and I guess if I was wanting to raise a steer calf, that might be the first female I would gravitate towards to try to get that done. So, a good, interesting class, and again, congratulations to all of my couple did a great job to get presented out here. had a pretty good night so far. 2 class winners, 2 very nice heifers, and again, just a lot of quality in this heifer here. I especially like her when we get her stopped. She has such presence out here in the ring. She's alert, up-headed, beautiful the way she's constructed in her neck and her shoulder. Again, one of those is pretty unique, that kind of muscle and power, and yet still some smoothness and some female character. I think not only do you see that about her head, her shoulder, you can look at her udder. You know, if she has some milk, at least the one thing about it, those teachers sit out there in the corner where they need to be. She looks like she ought to be a pretty nice kind of maternal female on down the road. Good enough on the move. You know, I would say if I was to do anything, sometimes there's just such a fine line. We put that extra shot of muscle in to kind of keep them loosen up hinge in her hip and her joints, and that might be just the little thing that I would pick on her just a little bit. You can kind of pick up on that once in a while as she moves, but that's a really, really nice one. And again, young lady, you've done a very nice job in getting your cattle presented out here tonight, so good job to you. I thought, again, the decision is what we do here for second. We have some nice heifers that follow her, probably none that have quite the completeness of design like we talked about here in this classroom, but different options. And when it comes right down to it, I'm just thinking as we keep these old cows out here and we make them cows, this one here I have quite a bit of confidence in her ability to turn in some of this old dried up grass and maybe a little bit of fat. She's got the extra body to her, the smoothness. She's kind of got over here hanging down right now. She don't look quite as alert as the heifers on either side of her. The shape of her neck, her shoulder, her extra body depth, her smoothness. And I think, again, we might talk about rear leg structure on both of these cattle as maybe they're not quite perfect, but this one with a little extra set to her height probably is a little bit more what I would prefer, the one that tends to be a little straight. And that's probably where I get just a little tough on the heifer third. She's just a little straight in her hind leg. But I think it's really her extra body depth and what I would just see as a cow would kick out on some of this little dried up grass. This one here probably has a little better opportunity to keep some body conditions, some fat on her to make one and have here in third. Now the heifer in third, just great looking up into her neck and her chest. Considerably more bone. There's probably more real muscle in that heifer when you get right in behind her. She's kind of that stage of life too, though, where she's naturally a little shallow in the rib, and she's kind of going to look like a growth stage, I would say, where she just doesn't have that middle third, that body depth to her. As we put her on the lead, I just like to give that hock a little more set, a little straight, and handle it accordingly as we watch her lead. But again, there's a lot of good in that one. Her extra length of body, her flinginess, her bone, her muscle. I think it gives you a lot of nice breeding pieces to work with. I would just try to find a bull that's a little softer, maybe this middle one that's going to loosen that hind leg up a little bit, and then you might have a pretty good factor right there. So great job too. I think really all three of these showing up here on the top. And even young lady here in Florida, you've done a good job of getting these cattle presented out here. The white-footed heifer, length of body's good. She's clean, real attractive up front. You'll notice as she leaves here and walks out, she has a tendency of maybe getting a little more in her pins and maybe not setting quite as directly off her hind leg, and so it tends to throw her off balance just a little bit as she travels out here in the ring. Kind of like the heifer in third. She can use just a notch more body depth to her, but I love this one's neck and shoulder smoothness. I like her body length, and there's a lot of good things to work with. A little bit of a disadvantage because this little red baldy heifer didn't have a mom. In fact, the mom's living around here in the ring right now, right? She was a bottle calf and she was born a twin, and so in the old bucket calf project, we have that back home, and a lot of kids get involved and really raise some pretty nice cows down the road. So right now she's a little behind the game. Here in a couple of years she'll get caught up. That heifer's sure clean enough, she's smooth, she's going to have enough body. The one huge advantage I'd say, when it's all said and done someday, she's not going to be a 1,500-pound cow. She's probably going to be more of that 1,000-1,100-pound cow, which looks like might work pretty good out here in this country. So good luck to you, dear. You did a nice job out here. I wish you the best of luck.
Coming back for our breeding heifer final drive in Class 1, Wade Ride. Class 2, Tally Joe Pearson. Class 3, Noah Jackson. And Class 4, Riley Joe Pearson. Everyone else please be on standby.
Well, this is a really great way to get us started. And I tell you what, let's do it. You've been a pretty good crowd. Let's give these kids a nice hand. You betcha. Four excellent classrooms presented by a great showman. And the other members, there's going to be one or two probably that's going to come back here and make their top five. And I think all the classes were really fun and exciting. And we get them out here, and I think the one thing that I would say is pretty safe to say is there's really no two heifers out here alike. I think each of them brings something to the show here tonight that makes them pretty unique and pretty nice, and yet each of them probably would have a thing or two that we'd like to tweak and change just to make them maybe closer to the ideal of the perfect. Let's start with the dark red heifer, the one in the first class. I know sometimes I'm a little 4-H dad, and I remember leaving the show as a parent, you always wonder, what that judge was thinking, how my cattle lined up compared to the two of the wins. And so I'm going to give you my little quick food for thought here with the four heifers. And we said in that first class, she sets the bar pretty high, and I think she still sets the bar very high out here for several traits. Length of body's incredible. Her structure, her skeleton is the best out here. The way she sits back in the angle of her shoulder, her movement out of her front end, her length of hip, just the construction of her hock and down her ankle. And as you watch these cattle fall to the ground, even though we got about 8 or 10 inches of sawdust, that's the one that you can see as she goes through the sawdust, she's square to the surface, and I like that a lot. I think of the cattle out here, that one looks like a female, the way she's constructed, her neck, her smoothness of body parts. And I think, again, the other, I see really a couple heifers out here that are shaped and constructed very nice in their other, and I like the way that thing's coming along. Now, where we could beat her is, if you're one of those that thinks they need to have a lot of muscle in your breeding cattle, I would say up to 4, she's probably going to be third on muscle, okay? There's 2 out here that just can eat her alive from behind. If you're a judge and you think they need to have a big old swinging belly, okay? She probably don't have that for you, does she? She's probably the shallowest heifer out here. And I guess what I come to learn as I breed cattle and I judge cattle when I go to these shows, that belly sometimes we get just a little overrated. Okay, a lot of that belly tends to be a lot of extra fat and fill and water and hair and all those things, because I know when we get done showing, we take them out as cows, we have enough belly, and several of them they got beat because they didn't have enough in the ring. So I think we got to be just a little careful. Some of that extra lower third maybe becomes a tendency of being just a little fat. But I still think she could use just a little bit more heart, maybe a little more depth in the center part of her rib. But I tell you what, young man, I think just from the standpoint of a good quality kind of a breeding female, I think she brings a lot of neat things here to this particular final drawing. I think without much question, the stoutest heifer by some margin is the heifer who won the second class. And we said to have that kind of muscle shape and squareness of hip and bone work, and yet still has good presence out here. This young lady has to work a little harder to get her head up and get her shown. And that's again, that's because the heifer's maybe not built quite right out of her shoulder and front end. That's a little bit of that function, but that one there is just really, really burly. Big old feet and a lot of bone underneath her. I think she handles her hip and her rear leg okay. Again, I don't know that she's quite as flexible and loose-knitted as the red heifer ahead of her, but she's good enough. We said in class, and I think it becomes even a little more apparent out here as you watch these cattle move, it's the construction of her shoulder blade. She's a little roped up high. She's a little steeper in her shoulders. She kind of wants to wing a little bit more out of her front end. Just if you watch her move, she doesn't bend at her knee and reach out to take a step. More of her strides like this out of her front end to get there. So, if I was to fix that one, I would probably try to build her and design her a little bit differently up into the front third of her body and have it be more slope in her shoulder blade and then down to the ground. But that's a good, stout, square-billed, heavy-bone kind of a female that she won in class 2. Angus heifer here in class 3, and again, pretty unique in several spots. Nice pretty head, nice neck in that one, tremendous in depth of body. As I said, we've got her plenty full. I think it probably starts to accentuate with maybe a little bit of a problem might be right in behind her shoulder. I think her length of hip is good. The design of her hock is good. She's one of those, as we talked in class, and she takes about every third step, she'll want to kind of snap up on an ankle. So you maybe like to maybe loosen up just a little bit of her lower joint. But I think from the standpoint of her depth of heart, flank, the length of body, the design of her hip and her hind leg, she's just quite nice. Again, I would picture right in behind her shoulder. That'd probably be the biggest thing I'd like to do is straighten her out behind her blade, just give her a bit more heart before rib, and kind of send it a little smoother to snowing out here. I'm sure half of them haven't come out here yet. You know what? When we stop and you get off over to study, that's probably the nicest heifer group for class 4. Just good looking, good body, excellent underlying, square built, plenty of bone. You know, I think her shoulder blades laid into her right, and we just got done discussing her in class, probably a little bit more. Her concern would be in hip and the hind leg and the way this was constructed. She's just a little shorter in her hip. I think that has a tendency to kind of affect the construction of her hind leg, and then accordingly she moves. Maybe didn't stay quite as square after her queens and her tail head. But another really nice heifer, I think, that will come around out of the classroom. So that's just a little bit of my favorite thought. I still think the best heifer stands out here in one of the first classes. Give this young man a very nice hand. You know, I really think these four, I discussed them, I think they could be jumbled up. I mean, Glenn Wright, I don't think any right or wrong answer is really accomplished out here tonight. The other one that I think has just a little bit more ladylike look to her, or smoothness, is the youngest heifer you man. That is your champion. Congratulations. Let's give all these a nice hand. Not just these five, but every kid that showed here tonight. I thought you had a great heifer show. Look forward to seeing you all tomorrow.
All right, our grand champion green heifer is Quade Ride. Reserve champion green heifer is Noah Jackson. Third place is Valley Joe Pearson. Fourth place is Valley Joe Pearson. And Gabe Finlinson is in fifth place. Thank you all.